The Jasper Utility Board prepares to accept bids for the 3rd Street Water Main project. Kerry Schneider brings us his weekly report from the Humane Society, and sports with Kurt Guxell. Those stories and much more are up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In your news at this hour, a Pike County man was transported to an Evansville hospital after he was seriously injured in a single vehicle accident late Monday morning west of Ireland. The DuBois County Sheriff's Department says 57-year-old Doug Craig of Petersburg was traveling westbound along State Road 56 just before noon when his pickup, for an unknown reason, drifted into the eastbound lane, went off the south side of the highway, and traveled 300 feet down into a ditch. The truck came to a stop after hitting a large concrete culvert head-on. The Ireland Volunteer Fire Department was called to the scene to extricate Craig, who suffered chest and head injuries in the accident. Craig was taken by ambulance to Memorial Hospital in Jasper and then life-flighted to St. Mary's Medical Center in Evansville, where he is listed in serious condition. The Utility Service Board met last night at Jasper City Hall, mainly to discuss the 3rd Avenue water main replacement project. The board requested funding from EDA, but have not heard yet if they will be granted any money. The Utility Board has decided to take bids for the project on the 29th of this month. The review process by the government could take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. The board already has the plans for the project completed and ready for submission. The board hopes to get the water main replacement project underway by August. Paving will be put off until next year with the winter weather conditions. This issue will be compounded with the upheaving of sidewalks and the rerouting of traffic along 3rd Avenue. Mike Adine, manager of gas and water utility for the city of Jasper, says even though it may be a nuisance to most people, it provides opportunities for others.
The 3rd Avenue is probably the most important thing we discussed out here because it is a vital project. There are expansions and jobs hinging on this, and the sooner we get it in the ground, the sooner we're going to be able to maybe see some of those jobs come to fruition, and we can get some more building and construction out there and get a stabler supply of water out to that area.
Adine, who plans to retire this year, says the utility board hopes to hear soon from the EDA. If that happens, the water main project could be finished before the end of this year. Last night, the Greater Jasper School Board heard a report from representatives of Indianapolis-based architectural and engineering firm Gibraltar Design. Gibraltar Design is a full-service firm that specializes in school building and facility work. Gibraltar has a team that has been conducting a feasibility study on the corporation's 3 elementary schools, 5th Street, 10th Street, and Ireland. The company conducted a similar study on the recently built Center for Advanced Technology at Vincennes University Jasper campus. Company President Jim Thompson, along with Vice President and Engineer Alex Nelson, provided an update to the board on the progress of their study thus far. Representatives from Gibraltar conducted an inspection of each building over the recent spring break at the end of March. Additionally, company representatives met with improvement teams from each school that included principals and designated school representatives from each building. Among the most significant items in the facility reports was each building's physical condition. Thompson says each building has areas that could be addressed to varying degrees, including roofs, windows, and doors, among other physical aspects of each building.
Your buildings, when they were constructed, were done at a time when American with Disabilities Act was just emerging, and there's some modernization and some updates that could be done across all 3 buildings to make the buildings more accessible. Some of that is just the natural evolution of what we know now versus what we knew 5 years ago and 10 years ago, and also what's available. There are different electronic devices for door opening and those types of things.
Thompson says mechanical and electrical issues need attention as well, mostly at 10th Street and 5th Street. Both facilities were built well over 50 years ago and have undergone several additions and renovations over the last 2 decades. Thompson also touched upon input received from each school's improvement team. Each improvement team recommended individualized learning space, technology, and a project-based learning lab. Thompson says among the milestones is an upcoming work session that's been scheduled for next month between representatives of Gibraltar and school board members to discuss the company's findings with the 3 buildings.
What we intend to do there is to go through this rubric of the existing facilities that we just saw and in more detail make sure that everybody in the room has had a chance to ask questions of us of those facility conditions, get confident with understanding what that means. We're also going to talk about the educational vision and some of that input that I just briefly summarized from your school improvement teams. Certainly a part of that will be technology and the discussion therewith. And then lastly, we intend to talk about options. So now that you understand what you have, what can be done to make it better.
That work session is set to take place on Monday, May 6th. Company architects, engineers, and interior designers will help guide board members and school officials through the preliminary planning, design, construction, and occupancy phases of any potential projects. Also last night, the board accepted an alternate bid for construction of the high school gymnasium to replace the existing roof membrane over a portion of the cafeteria. Clerk of the Works, Scott Stempnagel, told the board the entire high school roof will need to be replaced in stages over the next few years. The project extension will cost just over $175,000 and will be done by contractors already on site. Stempnagel also reported that the gym floor has been installed and the extension to the cafeteria will be completed in time for this Friday's academic banquet. Bleachers will arrive for installation next week. Finally, Superintendent Tracy Laurie reported that the corporation received a special education improvement grant for just over $65,700 from the state. The money will go towards professional development for teachers and the purchase of technology items for the students. Coming up after the break, Kerry Schneider makes his weekly visit to the Humane Society, plus thunderstorms and the potential for severe weather in your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform featuring Tri-County YMCA Executive Director Mike Steffi. That's all next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.